Hello everybody, Gun4 here for the I don't know how many take. Okay, so fun thing, one of the new things added I'm not actually going to be showing you because I'd have to go and redo the keys for it, or for fraps or whatever, either way. One of the new things added was mines, the idea that you can, one of the collectible items that you can collect by raiding a supply truck in one of the levels would be mines, that you can leave some little booby traps around for the enemies. Either way, those are on the same key as the fraps record and stop record button. Took me way too long to realize that's why everything kept going horribly. So won't be covering that one, but there were some other new spells and stuff. First one is going to be Homing Shot. It's going to be replaced with a Plasma Trail. So you can fire off a plasma ball that will seek after and explode on stuff. Unlike missiles, it's almost impossible. Like, you have to be at a really extreme angle, because the closer it gets, the tighter it can turn to dodge. So it's going to be a pretty accurate thing. And then the next one, Laser. Like with the magical crystal lance, it can penetrate stuff, but it is overall much slower in most cases to kill something for the same DPS, and it's a lot harder to aim because you have to be continuously trying to aim at the target, which makes you definitely more vulnerable to everything else going on. So it's more or less meant as a long-range option to deal with smaller, lighter vehicles. And yes, it also can potentially be used to try and intercept missiles and certain other things, but right now it's definitely not ideal at it. I might need to make it have a slightly wider width. Oh well, so enough about that. As far as the heavy attack helicopter goes, it's got some textures now. Also, I went and made it so that it can... I really need to have a minimum range on that thing so it doesn't blow itself up. Oh well, because right now it will fire the missiles and set them with a burst range of 5 meters if you happen to be 5 meters away. Now there's no surviving that as the player, but still. Oh well, admittedly at that point you'd be most likely dead anyway against all those bullets. So, yeah, this thing's got its basic texture, and kind of reminds me a little bit of something from, I think was that Halo Wars, the gunship? Kind of reminds me a little bit, its visual feel of that now. By the way, modify this thing so that it can engage you from much longer range, fires out more missiles. So overall it's just nice and deadly. Oh yeah, for the record, the mines though, items like that, since there's going to be some things like that that are items, they don't use up mana or anything, energy, magic, whatever, but instead you have a limited number of them. So yeah, that's the other stuff. Also been working a little bit with some of the AI, watched a few parts of it for the record, so you might notice a little bit of odd behavior and them not properly picking up on the player being around and chasing after them, especially relative to the range that they can notify you for attacking. So yeah, not everything is going perfectly. Homing shot is AoE, so it's almost worthless on tanks. Let's see, oh yeah. Here's one to look at. The long-range missiles now glow more visibly, so yeah, you can better hit those. Those APCs I don't think I gave them their path to follow when I added that spawner. Oh well. So yeah, and other things also, yeah, one new unit that's not currently in, probably the last new unit I'll be adding for a while. I'm probably going to have to start working more on the refining spells and AI, and also levels, terrain, maps, you know, working on making it more gameplay ready is an actual game. Also, user interface stuff. But, yeah. Alright, on the note of UI, upper right corner, there's a timer if you didn't notice. So yeah, new unit is a next-gen battle tank. The current main battle tank, as you've probably gotten familiar with, has a nice cannon on it. And it can definitely be pretty dangerous. Get closer and it shoots at you a little bit with a little machine gun on top, but yeah. For the most part, you have to be within specific. You have to be close enough, or moving extremely predictably, or not moving at all. The next-gen main battle tank, though, is bigger to the point that it really becomes a question of how do you actually get this thing around. It's actually got a double set of side tracks on each side, so that the side plates of the armor that cover the tracks and those whole areas can be disassembled and taken off, so it can still fit on trains and other things. So it's going to be kind of like some of the old World War II tanks that were just too big. It's got a huge turret on top. Well, the whole thing is huge, but huge relative to the main battle tank. It's still a conventional unit-sized thing, though. But it's got a railgun on it, so you'll hear a sound of it charging up, but if you're within line of sight, you need to immediately evade, because when that thing fires, if you're moving on the same course that you were, it'll pretty much predict ahead about 1.5 seconds or so. I'll probably have to, test, obviously, maybe 2 seconds, whatever. Either way, it'll predict ahead and just fire at that area, and the shot will arrive in less than a second. So if you're moving quickly but in a straight line, even from like half mile or a mile away, that thing can still snipe you out of the sky just like that. So as soon as you hear that sound, it's going to be a case of immediately try and evade. Immediately dodge and stop whatever you are doing, because you need to make an immediate, rapid adjustment to your course. And that's going to be the next-gen main battle tank. It'll have the ability to try and shut you down in the air if you're in line of sight of it from across the map. Unlike these ones, which can potentially fire from partially outside of line of sight, the main battle tank, if it can see you, at least you can see it and shoot it. So, yeah, that'll be probably the last new unit for a while. There'll still be the whole things like, planes and other boss and all that stuff to add in later and stuff, but for now I think I'm going to have to be pushing more towards, refining stuff that's already in here and working on the terrain, maps, AI, user interface. Like maybe add a main menu so you can load into the game and, select a couple of test missions or something. Yeah, well, later.